In this chapter, we will look at control language commands and see how they can be used to perform various operations on AS400 objects. A user communicates with the system by using control language commands. CL commands can be entered on the command line or included as part of a control language program. All commands on the AS400 are abbreviated and can be split into two parts. The first part is a verb that specifies an action to be performed, such as CRT for create. The second part specifies an object, such as PF for physical file, on which the action is to be performed. The maximum length of any CL command is 10 characters. The verb part of the command consists of 3 characters, while objects are represented from 1 to 7 characters. Here are some examples of the common verbs that are used in CL commands: change, create, declare, override, save, start. Similarly, for objects you can have authority, diskette, file, library, member, object. While some of the CL commands do not require any parameters, such as the display library list command that we saw in the previous chapter, many of the commands would be meaningless without parameters. For example, the change current library command would require a library name. When specifying a command, we write the command name followed by its parameters, if any. You can have up to 75 parameters for a command, but usually only a few parameters are specified. A parameter has two parts: a keyword and a value that will be used by the system when executing the command. You do not have to remember all the parameters for a given command. The system will assist you by providing a command entry display for the command that you specify. This feature is known as command prompting. To activate command prompting, type the command on the command line and press the F4 key. You will be prompted for the parameter values for the command. To the right of each parameter, you have the list of choices or valid values for that parameter. All the choices may not be visible on the display for certain parameters. To view all the choices, place the cursor on the parameter and press the F4 key. Some of the parameters can also take on a list of values, in which case plus for more values is displayed below the parameter name. To enter a list of values, type in the first value and enter a plus on the next line and press the enter key. You will be presented with a display where you can enter multiple values. Pressing the enter key will take you back to the command entry display. To add an entry to the list, place the cursor on the entry before which you want to add a new value and type a greater than sign followed by at least one space over the existing value and press the enter key. You will be prompted for the new values. Move the cursor to the first blank entry field and type in the new values, one on each field. Pressing the enter key will take us back to the command entry display screen. To delete an entry from the list, place the cursor on the entry to be deleted and type in the less than sign followed by at least one space and then press the enter key. Some of the parameters are optional. The system can use a default value and hence you need not specify a value. Some of the parameters are required parameters. That is, the system cannot assign a default value for such parameters, and you will always have to specify a value for them. We also have some conditional parameters. These parameters are displayed based on the value of some other parameter. For example, on the display object description, if we specify *out file for the output parameter and press the enter key, we will be prompted for the out file and *out member parameters. Also available on the command entry display are the function keys. Usually, we have the choices for each parameter displayed on the command entry screen. The F11 key can be used to view the parameter keywords instead of choices. The F11 key is a toggle key. Pressing the key again will once again display the choices. Once you become familiar with the various commands, you may find it more convenient to type in the commands on the command line instead of using the command entry displays. Summary. In this chapter, we studied control language commands. We saw how CL commands can be used to perform the various functions on the system. We saw how commands were abbreviated and consists of a verb part and an action part. We saw the different ways in which parameters can be specified for a command. We looked at required parameters, optional parameters, and conditional parameters. We also saw the keyword and positional forms of specifying parameters.